Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we'll be talking about a couple of stories, mostly, of course, focusing on the continuation of the cancellation of Gina Carano, but we'll also talk about how Kevin Sorbo is also in the process of being canceled via social media accounts, and of course, how Star Wars has once again tried to virtue signal, but this time it's kind of backfiring because, hey, we don't forget. But before going into any of these stories, please be sure to smash that like button, especially if you're watching over on Odyssey. So once again, please, if you would follow me over on Odyssey or over on Minds.com, that would be great. I upload all of my videos to both of those platforms. And so if you're sick and tired of YouTube's censorship, of YouTube's nonsense, and you want to look for alt-tech platforms, I am available on both Odyssey and Minds.com, and it's a lot of fun over there. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this first story. So as I've been mentioning in a few different videos on the channel, obviously, Gina Carano has been canceled by Disney, but in the end, they lost. In the end, they couldn't cancel her because she is a strong person, and she was able to say, okay, I'm not going to let you cancel me, right? Again, those words so very strong from her, saying they only can cancel us if we allow them to, and at one point also put out another statement saying, join the rebellion, and I'm just so hyped by that. And again, I've seen some of the comments under these videos whenever talking about these stories saying, oh, well, you know what, it's a private company, and and they're forgetting and really losing the entirety of the of the whole point, which is that it's not just that she was fired because of her opinion, it's that the opinion that she had is not a bad opinion. In fact, it's a fact. Anything that she said, the things that she got in trouble for were factual statements. So it wasn't even an opinion that she put out there. Not to mention, she has had other people who are around her, right? Other people who have done and been in the shows that she's been in. The Mandalorian, right? Mr. Pedro Pascal himself, who has said worse things than what she has, but connecting to the same exact events, but nothing had happened to him. So it completely comes down to a double standard, and the fact that she did not get fired because she had, she said something that was really bad. She got fired because they just didn't like her thought, because she didn't buy in to the woke agenda. And again, I think that's just something that's ridiculous, but it's not just even just that, right? It'd be one thing if it was just her being let go from The Mandalorian. It's the fact that it was a snowball effect, right? Because what happened right after that? Oh, that's right. She was dropped from her talent agency, and pretty much anyone that was associated with her, anyone that could be seen or deemed as a friend in Hollywood or in that area, all just dropped her or just gave her the cold shoulder. So they were literally having a campaign to say, nope, she is done. And this is what we tell you. She is done, and you have to accept it. And thank God she was like, no, you don't get to control my life. You don't get to tell me what to do. I'm going to determine my own future. I'm going to determine things for myself. And she said, okay, I'll go ahead and make my own way. I'll go ahead and do things on my own, and she has. And so for anyone out there still, whining and complaining, saying, oh, well, it's not that big a deal, Joe. The Daily Wire, it's not that great. The fact that she was being canceled and that she was going to have no prospects, and within less than a day, she's working for, whether you like it or not, one of the biggest media organizations right now in the country, the largest growing conservative podcast in the nation, as Ben Shapiro always says about his own show. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to understand that it is a huge platform. Whether you like it or not, you can say, oh, but it's not Disney. Oh, it's not Star Wars. Yeah, but look at how many people are now flocking away. How many fans are flocking away from Star Wars? People who they were just starting to get back, who they were just starting to get back with the show like The Mandalorian. Look at how many of them are now giving up, canceling Disney Plus, all of these other things. I would love to see metrics. Would love to see metrics on how many people have actually canceled a Disney Plus account in comparison to how many accounts they had previously. But Lord knows Disney is not straightforward. Disney is not honest. And so they're not going to release that kind of information because Lord knows it's probably going to be a pretty penny. But here's some more of the quote unquote cancellation. Again, she has not been canceled because she fought it. And in my opinion, she won. Because she still exists, she still has a public platform, she's actually more popular and more known by today's standards than she was before. So literally the cancellation backfired completely and has everything to do with the fact that Gina Carano is in this capacity uncancelable because, again, as she said, you only get canceled if you allow them to cancel you, and she has not done that, and I think that's a great message to send to all people, to say no one can shut you down for just having a certain point of view, or for even, in her case, not embracing a radical point of view. And as long as you don't allow it to happen, it can't happen, which is fantastic. But Hasbro has now added on to this as well because they are canceling the production of the Cara Dune Black Series action figure and vintage collection figures following her firing. Now, obviously, this makes some sense if you look at the, oh, well, she's no longer associated with the show. But remember, she is one of the most popular characters on the show. It doesn't matter if she's been fired for all future seasons. She is still on film, or I guess in this case on digital. She is still in season 1 and 2. They're not going to be able to erase her. Her character is too crucial to the story for them just to erase it completely. And so because of that very reason, it means that people are going to continue to watch seasons 1 and 2 and think, wow, Cara Dune is freaking awesome. She is a badass. I want to be able to, buy her action figure. And what's going to happen is there are going to be not any really available because of this kind of a move. So again, their thought process is, oh, we're going to cancel. But what has happened in lieu of all this? That's right. If you go to eBay and if you go to other sites that sell collectibles, that sell used items, you can't get anything Cara Dune because everything's being bought up. Everything's being sold for crazy amounts of money because that just shows how immensely popular this character is. So all that's going to do on Hasbro's part, it's just going to make things worse for them because it means they're going to lose out on revenue. And also it means that you have some people that are going to say, oh, Hasbro, you want to get involved with this too? Okay, well then, you know what? I just won't buy from you anymore, or at least I won't buy directly from you anymore, because it's this kind of nonsense that leads to people saying, all right, I will take my business elsewhere. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the story real quick from our friends over at Bounding Into Comics. It says, in the wake of Gina Carano's firing, it appears that Hasbro has canceled a production of 2 figures based on the Mandalorian's character. So there is the Black Series Cara Dune action figure. According to an email sent to customers by online toy retailer Big Bad Toy Store, as shared by Geeks Worldwide editor, on February 12th, Hasbro has canceled production of the Black Series 6 Cara Dune and will not be fulfilling the order. Unfortunately, this means we must cancel pre-orders for this item. So again, imagine all of that revenue that they have just kissed goodbye for a character that is still in season 1 and 2 of the show. And basically they're standing on, oh, well, we need to stand by our cancellation, cancel culture mindset, and we don't care about anything else. Which again, good for you if you want to be able to kiss that money goodbye, but hey, at the end of the day, Gina Carano is going to come away laughing a lot more over your nonsense. It says, likewise, Star Wars toy collector website Yakface reported the day before, on February 11th, that they had received word that the planned reissues of the 6-inch Black Series and vintage collection figures had been canceled. So it's actually a reissuing of it, so there are still, again, I'm not an action figure collector, so I don't know, so I'm assuming that they had already been released, but this was just going to be a reissuing of it. It says, however, curiously, Yakface also noted that Hasbro still intends to release the retro collective version as planned. Okay, that's pretty interesting. As of writing, the Cara Dune Black Series and vintage collection figures are now unavailable to purchase from various retailers, including Amazon, Target, and Big Bad Toy Store. What do you think of this cancellation? So again, I think the cancellation is stupid because I think it's a terrible financial decision on their part, but also it's just them kind of just, piling on to this cancel culture, right? It's just them trying to say, we want to make sure that this character, this actress, is just erased from existence, but you're not going to be able to actually do that, especially when she's not going to allow you to. Someone else that they're trying to, and obviously they've been trying to cancel him for a long time because he's been very outspoken on his Twitter and social media platforms about how he feels. He was a major Trump supporter, for instance, and other things like that, is Kevin Sorbo, who, of course, I remember because I grew up watching the Hercules show. I grew up watching Hercules and Xena, in fact. And so Kevin Sorbo is a guy who's been in, kind of in my history of watching TV and movies for a very long time for that very reason. But apparently, his Facebook has been deleted. His official account on Facebook that had over 500,000 followers has been wiped off the face of the earth, probably citing some nonsensical statements, but at the end of the day leading to the one and only cancellation, or the attempted cancellation, of Kevin Sorbo. It says here that actor Kevin Sorbo, known for his role as Hercules, recently announced that his Facebook had been deleted. Sorbo took to Twitter where he made the announcement, breaking Facebook deleted my official account with over 500,000 followers. I have created a new page. Spread the word. So what's interesting to me, and this is where I would probably say I disagree with Kevin Sorbo, is if Facebook's going to delete your account, what you should do then is move to an alternate platform. And this is something that a lot of people should do, right? If you are ever canceled or on the brink of cancellation, create a presence on an alt tech platform that they can't delete you from, right? There are many platforms out there. Minds.com is a decentralized platform. It's a great option. Obviously, Gab.com, a lot of people like going over there. They literally have their own servers, so no one can ever actually shut them down unless they were to destroy said servers. So I think all of these things need to be taken into account in this new age of cancellation that we live in. And so Kevin Sorbo, if this is just a temporary location for the people that do follow you on Facebook to find a new place to follow you, hey, I can agree with that. But if it's just going to be, hey, we're going to stay on Facebook and stay in this environment, personally, I would say, especially with Facebook facing lawsuits and all these other things, probably is not going to be a good platform to be in the long run. It says the Media Research Center reported that Facebook did not respond to a request to confirm Sorbo's ban or explain why he was removed from the platform. This is not the first time Sorbo had been canceled. Back in 2018, Cliff Galbraith announced he turned down Kevin Sorbo for East Comic Con. His reasoning was that he's pals with Sean Hannity. I just can't do it. Dear Lord, the hilarity. I turned down Kevin Sorbo. He's pals with Sean Hannity, and I just can't do it. Oh, poor little soy. Oh, I could feel the soy coming out right there. Sorbo would respond to this alleged ban from East Comic Con when he said, "This is so funny and ridiculous. What's even more odd is I have never heard of this con, nor did my booking." That makes it even better when you think about it. But anyway, so obviously they're still trying to go after him. And again, I imagine it's probably because he posted things that were pro-President Trump. And obviously no one can have that opinion anymore in this country or in our world without being canceled, because it is wrongthink and one cannot be guilty of wrongthink no matter what. And the last story has to do with this nonsense right here. So remember how they treated the character of Finn in Star Wars? Remember how they turned, this iconic, what was supposed to be this new iconic black character, but they turned him into a janitor, and he was going to be someone really cool based on The Force Awakens, and then he turned out to be nothing and did nothing for the remaining two movies. Remember that? Yeah. Well, now they're trying to use it as saying, "Oh, remember Finn? Look at how great our, Black History Month. Look at us. We have a lot of things to say with Black History Month." And of course, anyone who has a brain can see right through this and see that they are virtue signaling to the max, trying to make and kind of erase the fact that they treated Finn terribly. Again, not just by making him a janitor, but also by, in their posters being promoted in China, erasing him off the poster, because they knew that people in China would not like that very much. They knew that the Chinese Communist Party, which remember, Disney is a big fan of because they do business with them, right? They thank the paramilitary group that's a part of the Uyghur Muslim population being destroyed over there. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to keep on mentioning that. Disney is a part and has supported the Chinese Communist Party, and therefore has also supported and thanked paramilitary groups that are a part of the genocide of the Uyghur Muslim population in China. It's a fact. Go ahead, look it up for yourself, look for some NewsGuard certified sources, and you will see a plethora of information about these things. Again, Disney, whether they're, we don't personally agree with it, if you're taking money from them, if you're giving them money in the process of these things, if you're making deals with them, then you are a part of the problem. So you're going to go ahead and try and virtue signal saying, look at all the good we've done for African Americans in this country. Look at all the good we've done for black people in our world, in our entire nation. It's ridiculous. It is insane. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the story once again by Spencer McCooley from Bounding Into Comics. It says, an illustration of Star Wars Finn shared by the brand's official Twitter account in honor of black representation has rung hollow for many audiences in the wake of Disney's treatment of both character and actor John Boyega. On February 13th, in honor of Black History Month, the official Star Wars Twitter account shared an image of Finn as he appeared in The Rise of Skywalker, alongside a few words from the piece's artist Mel Milton on how storytelling is at the heart of being human, and black representation in all media gives us the opportunity to feel like we are a part of the world that we are living in. Even though for me personally, I think it would be important for us to talk about how being human is what should be most important of all, right? Why are we still basing our judgments of people? Why are we still focusing on the race or on the gender of a person? I thought that the whole concept of what MLK fought for, especially, was that we would not be judged based on the content of our character, or rather, would not be judged based on the color of our skin, but rather on the content of our character. And yet, whenever I see posts like this, especially during Black History Month, all I can think of is, how is this not kind of basically giving the middle finger to MLK's legacy? Because what you are doing by doing these things is saying, oh, race is the most important thing, gender is the most important thing, instead of just being human. And instead of talking about one's thoughts, right? The actual content of one's character, right? The opinions that we have as persons. But of course, we can't talk about that because we all know there's right think and there's wrong think, and there's no room for diversity there when we talk about people at Star Wars, people at Lucasfilm, and of course, all other major corporations. It goes on to say, quote, to be seen and heard more gives us a chance to feel like we are understood by those consuming our stories. Stories can show how a character can overcome struggles and conflicts. Yeah, Finn's not the best way to represent that story. Have you watched the Star Wars sequel trilogy? I mean, seriously, I think it's important for us to talk about these things. It says, however, given not only Disney's treatment of Finn throughout the Star Wars sequel trilogy, but also actor John Boyega's constant criticisms towards the company, it's hard to see the sharing of Milton's piece by the official Star Wars Twitter account as anything more than empty virtue signaling. In 2018, when a fan took issue with Boyega's appraisal of Spike Lee's She Gotta Have It series as trash and countered that John Boyega is the most useless character in the current Star Wars franchise, but you don't hear him say anything at how bad that writing is, the actor replied that he has those discussions on set. So throwing a lot of shade towards the writing of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. When told by a fan in June 2020 that while he himself had no reason to be embarrassed by the rise of Skywalker, Disney did, Boyega enthusiastically agreed with the fan's assertion, writing, literally, that's their problem. Boom. Very much distancing himself from Disney. Later, during a September 2020 interview with GQ, Boyega slammed Disney for their treatment of Finn, rhetorically telling them to not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. And again, that's exactly what happened with Finn's character. So for anyone to try and say that he is a great representation for Black History Month is a slap in the face of not just John Boyega, but also of the entire meaning behind the movement itself. It's, again, a giant virtue signal that hopefully many people are going to be very aware of and call them out for. It's not good, said Boyega of Finn's character arc, which saw him drop from the franchise's potential new Jedi to nothing more than a glorified janitor over the course of Disney's 3 films. I'll say it straight up, he says. In the same interview, Boyega also noted that he considered the reordered character hierarchy that first took effect in The Last Jedi to be a particularly disappointing and infuriating development. Yeah, remember how everyone's saying, oh man, Rian Johnson, he's the best Star Wars film director ever. Yeah, tell that to John Boyega. Tell that to the tell that to the legacy of black characters. It goes on. Like, you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You knew what to do with Adam Driver, said Boyega. You knew what to do with these other people. But when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know F all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being part of it all. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest, Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything. Boom. That is exactly right. I'm surprised I actually didn't see this full article and see this full interview earlier, because that is exactly right. Daisy Ridley, they had a plan for. Adam Driver, they had a plan for. But again, he's admitting himself, when it came to the characters of Finn and obviously Kelly Marie Tran's character, what those characters were nothing more than virtue signaling. All they were there for was to fill in their quota without actually giving them any second thought, without actually giving them a good character arc. It actually kind of makes a lot of sense as to why they were going in that direction of them being, in this kind of romantic relationship that they then, of course, just dropped in the 3rd film. And so it makes a lot of sense then why they're going in this direction, because they took 2 characters that they had no plan for and then decided to drop them both. No real surprise there at all. It goes on to say, worst of all, and here's the biggest, to me, the most egregious thing they ever did. It says, worst of all, Disney's promotion of Finn as a beacon of black representation is made all the more insulting in light of how they infamously shrunk Boyega's appearance on the Chinese poster for Star Wars The Force Awakens in order to appeal to a country's more discriminatory views towards other races, particularly those with black skin, right? It is very well known that, especially when you talk about the Chinese Communist Party in China, that they are racist, that they especially are not very fond of people of African heritage, and that is why they made this poster. And again, here it is, right there in front of you. Notice how on one side, there's John Boyega, that's the American poster, the international poster, but when it comes to the one that was released in China, oh wait, he's gone. His big image is gone, and it said he's just back here, he's just a little bit. Again, they probably could have done it even worse than that, but it's very clear that they changed this design for a clear purpose, to try and serve the desires of the Chinese Communist Party. And once again, remember that they also thanked the paramilitary group that is responsible for the genocide, the mass genocide happening right now of the Uyghur Muslim population in China. Disney is a part of it. Disney is giving the communists money. And guess what? That money, therefore, supports them, which means it supports this genocide. Never forget that, especially when you're about to pay for your Disney Plus, especially when you're about to pay for your Hulu and all the things that are associated with Disney. I know it can be very hard sometimes to boycott a company completely, especially one as vast and as incredibly massive as Disney. It probably needs to be broken up at some point. But regardless, it is something that we should all, I hope, try and keep in our minds for all of these things going forward, because it is just insane that they're going to try and use Finn as a positive example of black representation in film, when even the character, even the actor that played the character himself has come out to say, nah, 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 nah. This is ridiculous. And you know what? He's absolutely right. It is ridiculous. But anyway, what are your thoughts about all of these things? Again, I think all of this is a big part of cancel culture, because obviously when it came to Finn, the character of Finn, they pretty much canceled his character, right? They pretty much was like, oh, he served the purpose of trying to get people psyched, trying to get the minority populations excited to see the first film and maybe to see the rest of the franchise, but we had no actual plans for his character whatsoever. So in a way, you could say that his character has been canceled. Also, since he has left, right, since he's been done, what has John Boyega done? He's done nothing but throw shade and just destroy. Seriously, just destroy Disney in this process. Kevin Sorbo, obviously, also as part of this, having his Facebook deleted, and Gina Carano continues to try to be canceled, but as I said before, she's already won by the very fact that she is going to produce her own film, that she is going to star in that film, and that she's going to fulfill the dream that she's always had by working with, whether you like it or not, a very large corporation. Now, again, is it as big, or not necessarily a corporation, but a giant company? Is it as big as Disney? Is it as big as Star Wars? No. But it's also at the beginning point of getting involved in media, getting involved with movies and television. And so we're going to see the company continue to grow, right? Their company has been massively growing every single year for the past several years. Most of that has been because of their delving into the news media world. But now that they're diving into things like movies, that's also going to continue to expand and grow over time as well. And Gina Carano, I think, because she's got a massive fan base that's only getting larger because people are loving to hear someone actually speak out and say, no, this is the rebellion. You can't be canceled unless you let them cancel you, is something that a lot of us have been waiting for someone to have the to have the cojones to actually say. And it's so great to finally see someone do it. And I hope that this is the inspiration needed for other actors, other people in Hollywood to stand up and say the same thing and to join the revolution as well. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about all of these things in the comment section below. And again, please follow me over on Minds.com and on Odyssey and leave some comments and likes there. Again, the more you interact on those platforms, you get more cryptocurrency, and then you can essentially donate that cryptocurrency, or in their, they have tokens and coins that you can then turn into cryptocurrency. But anyway, you do get free digital currency, as it were, and then you can use that to donate to your favorite creators. And so if you are so obliged to do so for me, that would be awesome. That would be great. It's definitely a way to continue to support the channel, and that's a way that you can actually gain coins for free. And if you have no plans for them in the first place, then you can just give them to the people that you want to support. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members: Albertus Magnus, Ali C83, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, The Honky Chonky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeff Toon, Jonathan Carney, Laura Story, the Modern Major General, Mag Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you so very much for being my Patreon members. And a huge shout out also to my Subscribe Star members: Stan 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadan G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribe Star members, and to all people who support the channel. It really does mean a lot. If you want to support the channel and have your name shouted out, please make sure that you join on Patreon or Subscribe Star today. If you sign up at the $5 or up level, you'll also get access to exclusive giveaways, including for 4K and Blu-ray titles. At the $10 level, you get all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. There's actually currently an episode that I made public on the channel right now, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want to have more access to even more episodes and more content and the ability to ask us questions. Please feel free to check that out as well. And if you join at the $25 level and up, the Chosen of Valhalla level, you get to have all of those things, plus you get a free t-shirt that first month that you sign up for it, and every month you will be able to access the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where me and my Chosen just talk for about 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours about whatever it is that they want to talk about. So check all of that out in the links in the description below. You are all amazing and beautiful people, and we all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.